welcome back. I'm Jen Sorensen of A Quilting Jewel, and today I'm going to share all my best tips, tricks, and things you maybe haven't thought of bringing to a quilting conference such as QuiltCon. Now, next week from when I post this, we will be on our way to Phoenix for QuiltCon 2025, but this holds true for any sort of quilt conference or convention of any kind, QuiltCon this year or beyond. These are some of the things that I will pack with me, or maybe not, depending on the year, the location, and just some best practices, because I have attended all but 2 QuiltCons since it launched. I also attend a number of conferences throughout the year, and also I will travel for races as a runner. So I've got a few different tips and tricks that I want to share with you around things that I find helpful to have on me for these events, because they are exhausting. There's a lot going on. It's a lot of time on your feet, you're carrying stuff, nutrition, there's a lot of different things like that. So I want to talk to you about some of the things that I think about. The first one being footwear. Now, we don't always think about this, but you're going to be standing on concrete at these conference events. You're not normally used to standing on that. When you're at home, you're often on wood or carpet or tile. There's usually a lot more give and flexibility. You might even have some of the pads on the floor. One of the shoes that I have been swearing by lately are these UFOs, and they're sneakers. They're kind of an orthotic, but these are a lot more attractive overall. I also will wear these slides around my house. These are my house shoes in a way, and you can see they're kind of like Crocs in a way. I find these to be a lot more attractive than Crocs, but just my personal experience, those are kind of my ride or die. Sneakers, but you want to wear things that are pretty comfortable for you and that you can stand on a really hard surface for hours on end. So think about that. Think about your shoes and maybe bring a couple of different kinds so that you're rotating throughout the time that you're at the event. Now, speaking about recovery, your back, all of that stuff, if you have a bathtub in your hotel room or an Airbnb or something like that, you may want to think about bringing these travel bath salts. These are just a couple that I have on hand. The runner in me that runs races keeps these on me. Great for soaking your feet, just a soak at the end of the day to kind of relax your body and muscles. And these are really small. I mean, I have tiny hands, and they're a good size. So, you know, these aren't going to take up much room. And then when you use them, you have more space in your suitcase. And I generally will put these inside my shoes when I'm traveling for space saving. Something to think about in terms of recovery and taking care of your body when you're at the event. All right, next up that I will sometimes bring, and this goes back to recovery, is I have a mini Theragun here. And again, this is fairly small and, you know, size of my face, hand, small hand here. But this is a massage gun. It's, you know, there's different sizes. Small, portable. I wouldn't carry this with me to the show itself unless you're checking a bag at the event, but it's really good for recovery after, where after a long day, you can kind of recuperate, massage your muscles. Nice to have, the last few things, nice to haves, not mandatory. Again, as a runner, and I typically work out when I'm at these events too, so I will bring some of those tools with me regardless. All right, moving on to the event itself. You want to think about how you're going to be carrying things throughout the venue. Many times you will be given a goodie bag. So here's one from years past, and it's filled with stuff. This is great for carrying purchases, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a goodie bag. So something like this might be good to carry, but the thing to keep in mind is if you're carrying this for an extended period of time and you're going to be putting things in it on one shoulder, your back's going to start to hurt. You're going to keep switching it from side to side. You know, your shoulders, your back, everything's just going to start to ache. So think about how you're going to be carrying things and what you're going to be carrying, and if there's a way to do so in a way that doesn't hurt your back as much. Now, a couple years ago, they sold these backpacks. And the nice thing about a backpack is that it distributes the weight evenly across your body and your back. So it's a little bit more balanced. With any show outside of QuiltCon or any others, check the rules to see what is allowed inside the venue before you bring something. I personally sometimes like a simple small crossbody, like the bum bags that are popular right now. Small, easy, you know, you don't need a lot in there, just some of the essentials. And again, that's going to depend on what you need for the day. Are you taking a class? Some of those things. So when we think about what goes into our bag too, which may help you figure out what to bring, one of the things I like to carry is a little mini bag here that can be used for purchases. So this is a reusable bag I got, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago in Paris at one of the stores where I bought something. This came with it. But I like that this one folds up versus the other one I showed is a little bulkier. It's a very lightweight too. I have an Amazon storefront, an affiliate store that I'll put in the description below. But I found some similar ones to this that are very lightweight that you can put in your bag. Check, and I'm using very vague terms here, check the location, the state of where you're attending, because there's also a chance that there may be a bag law. You know, more and more states are implementing, and countries are implementing laws where they charge a fee for a plastic bag. Some of the vendors may come from those states as well and may not have bags as much. So having something like this that you can just whip up easily is really helpful. All right, the next thing I recommend making sure you include is some sort of notebook and pencil with some grids in it. And these are a few that I've had with me through the years. This one has been through like 5 or 6 QuiltCons with me, and I have sketches and notes going back to, I want to say maybe 2017-ish, you know, going back to taking some classes. What I will also find is I will sometimes just get inspired and start sketching and doodling. This one, you know, there was a transparency doodle, and I like to kind of put where my inspiration came from. So, you know, just kind of making sketches in here. Sometimes they turn into things, sometimes they don't. So bring some of those with you. This was a notebook that they sold. This was, I believe, this was 2024. They gave out some of these notebooks as well. And I don't know if you can tell, they have the dots in there for some grids if you want to do some sketching. And then the MQG used to sell packs of 3 of these. And again, you know, you can kind of look and see and do some sketching in here. But it's just nice to bring something small and lightweight. You're going to be inspired, and being able to have something that you can jot your notes down is always helpful. But again, I really like the small ones for keeping in my bag because they weigh less and I can quickly jot down something. Speaking of things that go in your bag, I highly recommend a portable charger for your phone. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be taking tons of photos, exchanging contact information, and portable chargers are awesome. I like something like this because it is self-contained. It has the charger in the back that you can just plug it into the wall. And then this one has the different cords that can come out, especially if you're charging different devices with different, you know, types. If you've got a camera and a phone or something like that, it just allows you to charge a few different things. I also like the really small ones that are about this big. I think they're packed in my carry-on right now already, but you can simply just charge your phone with it. But that's really only one charge. Something like this is going to have a few charges to it. All right, something that is truly necessary, I find, is a water bottle of any kind. This one's a little big. You know, I like something sometimes a little smaller, but I wanted to show this one specifically and what I like. I will sometimes add a carabiner to the top so I can clip it to something if I have a smaller bag. It's just easier to carry. But one of the things that I really like about, and thinking about your water bottle, I like this. This is a Corksicle that I've gotten at Run Disney Races. It has a flip top lid where the drinking spout is completely covered when it's closed. When you're on an airplane, tight space, you're putting this in the seat back pocket. When you are walking around, it kind of protects the area where you drink from germs. It's just my thing as someone who travels a lot for work. I try and make sure that I keep that pretty clear. And also really good for a lot of the venues I found lately have had refilling stations, so that way you don't have to spend $6 on a bottle of water. So think about that and exactly what water bottle you bring. Next up is something that is completely and utterly optional, but I have found it really helps me in certain situations when I am traveling to various venues that are very dry in nature. Phoenix, is generally one of those that is pretty dry, and that is a travel humidifier. So this is a travel humidifier. This piece right here screws onto a water bottle that you buy in a store. So in this case, I've got a water bottle here. This top screws in, you flip it upside down, and it goes into this humidifier. And I will just keep this on my bed. This is the part that comes up and it blows out, and you can just, little dial, but it's pretty small here as well. You can see it's nice when you're in really dry areas because the convention centers, everything can be dry. It's a nice to have. I bring this whenever I go to Vegas conferences because that is one of the worst areas. I just find that it is really hard to stay hydrated and to just, I get bloody nose. You guys know the deal. I don't need to get into the graphics. Anyway, I digress. The other thing you may want to pack are some snacks. So some small little mini bars. I've had a honey stinger waffle here, something like that. And just have something small that you can keep in your bag because, again, convention centers are really tough for food, especially if you have allergies. I myself have a gluten allergy, so it's sometimes really hard for me to find anything that's of protein or somewhat healthy. Bringing some of that stuff is really nice. Which brings me to one of my must-have travel accessories that comes with me on every trip that I go on. Me personally, I don't like coffee. I hate the taste of it. I know, shocker. I love tea. So with that, I bring with me a collapsible tea kettle. So a little description on there. And because I don't like those, even when something has a coffee maker in the room, I don't like if you get hot water out of it, it tastes like coffee. So this is what it looks like, all packaged up. All I have to do is pop this up and it goes up really easily. The handle right here just kind of, there it is, clips up, clips in here, and then I have a cord that just plugs in right there. So this, and again, super easy, packages up pretty small. So I will have my tea in here every morning. So check the photos of the hotel and or Airbnb or wherever where you're staying to see if they have coffee cups in the room. If not, you may want to bring a reusable coffee cup with you to drink that out of. But this is also good for oatmeal, for soup, or other things like that you just need to add some hot water to. It's a great, I think this was like 25 bucks maybe or something on Amazon. And I use this all the time. The amount of money I save on tea on a regular basis. But if you're bringing oatmeal for the mornings or soup, dehydrated soup, some of the ramen or things like that, great option for you. Think about it's my necessity. Most people watching this are like, no, I don't need that. And I totally get it. That's something that I can't live without. All right, one of the things you're gonna see often at QuiltCon is the passing out of stickers. So I have a bunch of these that I printed. I used Moo, where I have a bunch with my quilts on them. They'll be at the show. I've got a whole slew of them here. You may want to think about it. It's probably a little late from when I post this for this year, but something to think about in the future. And then business cards. So I will bring these with me. Again, this is something that I have from Moo, where I just print a bunch of these and bring them with me. Which brings me to, how do you carry them? So I brought with me, over here, a bunch of my name tags for QuiltCon, just to share with you kind of what things look like. Now, the past few years, they've looked like this. They are just a piece of paper folded. And what I've noticed, something you may want to think about is a marker to write your Instagram handle, because they haven't had that on in recent times. But it's just a piece of paper. And then you can find little flags kind of here you can put on if you have a quilt in the show, or there are a few, if you're a guild leader, some of the other things. In years past, they have had a protective plastic that you can put it in. And what I would do is just put the stickers or anything kind of in the back. So you just kind of slide it in the back and you have it all there. So you may want to think about if there is something that you can bring or put on. I'll try and put the dimensions in the description below so you know what it's like. But just something to keep in mind. Some folks will, there was a trend around buttons at one point. You can see for a few years. This one was the Phoenix one where it was just one. But again, you can see I'm writing on the Instagram handle, something I would highly recommend doing, because many folks recognize others from their social media handles versus their actual names. I know that's me. All right, I think I just have a couple more things here. I need to go through my big bag of hand piecing here and think about, what do I want to bring with me on the plane to do my hand sewing. So I've got these itty bitty teeny tiny hexagons. Do I want to do that? Do I want to work on this English paper piecing project that I've been working on? It's nice when you have something on the plane. If you want to think about something, you're going to have no idea. You're not going to be able to tell what that is from there. Think about some handwork projects that you want to bring with you, especially if you have a long flight or if you've got some time in between classes or something like that. Something to think about. And then the final thing that I have here with me in person is, you may want to think about bringing what kind of apparel you have. So we just got some merch for our guild. Obviously, I am a member of the Boston Modern Quilt Guild, so I might want to wear this one day at QuiltCon, or other quilty stuff, earrings, jewelry, jackets, anything like that. This is a kind of place to really share your style, kind of go out there and really make yourself, like, you're going to be welcome, essentially. You're going to feel like you can dress however you want to dress and express yourself. And I highly recommend doing that if that's your thing. What I don't have here in front of me that you also may want to think about, we have all experienced a lot over the past 5 years or more since this goes out. It is not uncommon to see people wearing masks. It is not uncommon seeing people wearing headphones if you are overstimulated. Think about what works for you. Think about your comfort level and make sure you're bringing those things. So I want to bring that up, because know that you will not be out of place if you do decide that you want to wear a mask, if you're not feeling well. And I highly encourage others that maybe don't feel well to wear them, and think about what you need for some breaks. So this is kind of what I wanted to share with you, some non-conventional things that I will bring with me to conferences, keep in the hotel room or bring with me, and then a few common things overall. But I would love to know, what are some of the things outside of your basic clothes, toiletries, undergarments, makeup, those typical things that you will bring with you no matter what. What are some of the things that you recommend that maybe I missed that isn't on my list here that you think others may want to think about bringing for QuiltCon or any other quilting event, conference? I would say retreats are a totally different thing, and we'll probably have a very different packing list. But for a conference, like an AQS event, Mancuso, Road to California, any of those kinds of events, Houston, what are some of the things that you find have been helpful for attending events? Or do you have a question about what to bring? Let me know down in the comments below, but be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more of this kind of content. I hope to bring more QuiltCon related goodness to you after the event. But until then, I hope you have a great day and get to spend some time quilting. Happy quilting, friends.